coffins lay in the yard below, waiting to be carried to their final resting spot.
The Colin family tomb, which lies where the fieldstone fence wraps around Goody Sibley's property, and where my brother-in-law, Jonathan, used to meet his ships. 3 coffins, full of the most regrettable foolishness, whose contents were riddled with the most unfortunate and forcibly imposed adverse. I warned them all. But the gold, their gold, shines like no other. It catches the light and reflects back into our darkest places, until we are consumed by the want of it, the need for it. We pine for it as if we shall never be whole again until we have it. I have seen their gold, and I will tell you the gold of this earth is but a pale and mundane representation. This is the gold of the other side, whether angels or demons I know not, but surely not of this earth. My father was an alchemist, the great governor of Connecticut, John Winthrop the Younger. He arrived on this land in the 1630s with over 1,000 books on alchemy and related subjects, many of which he had received from John Dee himself, noted astronomer, astrologer, and magician of Queen Elizabeth's court. My father was a patient, brilliant, and dedicated student, whose successes far outweighed anything he showed outside this house. My siblings and I have seen and heard things you could scarce imagine, things we never dare tell another living soul. For all anyone knew, my father created potions and salves that cured the plague, smallpox, and the fever. That was all anyone need know. The efficacy of my father's remedies became the topic of discussion. The famous ministers, Increase and Cotton Mather, touted him as the angel of Bethesda for his healing waters. Potions and salves filled his room. But behind this public self, my father continued on with many of these experiments. I have seen my father speak with spirits. I have watched as angels no larger than my thumb grace his scrying glass. I have seen angels larger than the oak that graces our back garden. These beams emitted a light unlike any you've ever seen, a light that made the air snap and seem brittle. Always during these visitations I would smell a sweetness like that of honeyed rose petals, a sweetness so full, so complete, that it nearly hummed as you took it in, a greatness beyond the rudimentary faculties of man, but in our imperfect efforts to explain it, sound and smell combined until it became a song, not heard but felt in every part of you, and every breath resonating through your entire body, a feeling of a place you had wandered from, but until this very moment you had never known you had lost. Sometimes I would weep for this loss, for this ache I had never known I possessed. Afterwards, my eyes would see the colors of the rainbow beset on everything I saw. A tree, a bird, my common ship, a chamber pot, all shone with this otherworldly light. Sometimes this would last for days. The grief, the ecstasy, slowly subsiding. And the gifts they left with us all carried the echo of this with them. Jewels, stones, and other objects, I swore I would... They all carried this spark, this scent, that feeling that everything would be made well, everything would be right. My father was a pure and goodly soul. He instructed us well not to allow this congress with the other world to consume us, to understand it, but not to let it better us. Slowly my siblings and I began to enjoy these fantastic occurrences without succumbing to the dangers. I tell you all this, for it was this knowledge and this experience that told me the ring I saw upon my sister-in-law Penelope's finger was no common trinket. She showed it to me in early October. I noticed the change in the air around her hand. I smelled that honeyed sweetness. I heard the spark. But then, at the edge of the light, I felt something I hadn't experienced before. An emptiness, a sourness that followed the sweet, a terrible discord. You must not wear this ring, Penelope, I said to her. She looked at me as if I had struck her. My father has has died, Margaret, she said indignantly. This ring was fashioned from the gold of one he owned. It gives me great comfort. In her father, George Corwin's inventory, listed among his many valuables, was a gold ring, not found with his other belongings. This ring, instead, was found in a freshly dug hole in the basement of this house. A hole he may have been digging when he died. The heirs fought over this ring, and since they could reach no satisfactory agreement, they cut the ring into 3 pieces, each fashioning a band of gold for themselves. I spoke with each of them, collectively, separately, reasonably, then irrationally, with all the vehemence I could muster, but my words and my efforts were of little effect. Each proudly wore their new prize, and within days, mere days, that dark, coiled thing did sense, did strike, taking their lives. Jonathan first, then Abigail, then young Lucy Penelope, gone in her sleep, her face pinched as if the life had been sucked from her blue, bruised mouth. I gave the rings to my brother Waitstill to destroy. Well, 2 of them, for I was not able to find the third. Jonathan's has not been seen since his death. 3 coffins below. When we have said our final goodbyes, and the siblings are laid to rest, I will come back into this house and search again for Jonathan's ring, in the attic above this room where Jonathan's body was found, and through that door, with the long, furious scratch marks freshly etched upon it. When I saw these earlier today, I had the same sickly feeling I had when I first saw Penelope's ring. Even now, I can sense that dark, lingering terror waiting through that door, waiting somewhere above, waiting